Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to school again. We are going to be working today on making numbers in different ways. So I can make that number in a variety of ways. And one of the ways that we just learned to do that was in expanded form, right? So we have our leftovers here and then our groups of 10 here, and I can put those two together to make this number. And that's one of the primary ways that we're going to do that. And one of the reasons I say that is because we're going to have even tens on this side, and then we're going to have our leftovers on this side, and it's going to make our whole number here, right? And so I can still leave my leftovers here. I can still have even tens over here and still end up with this number, okay? So the goal here is that we're going to end up with this 24, and we're going to still do that in a different way than this. And used to what we would talk about is just swapping these two numbers, but that's not really what I mean at this point, okay? So what we're doing, and this is not number one on the front of your paper or anything like that. We'll make a new number for that. But for this example, what I'm going to do is I know that I have two, I know that 20 is how many tens? How many tens is 20? 2. There are 2 tens in 20. And so I can borrow one of those tens, put it with my leftovers, and I still have one of my tens over here. So what that would look like, I know I have 2 tens, so I'm going to put 1 10 here. I'm going to add it to my leftovers, but I have to take the one that I borrowed away and add it to that one. So when I add 10 to this number, what do I end up with? 10 and 4 makes, that's right, 14. Okay? So again, all I did was take my tens from this side, from expanded form, and I borrowed I took one of the tens away and added it here. So when I took it away, I had 10. And when I added it back to my leftovers, I had 14. Right? Does that make sense? So I can also do that again. And when I take a 10 away from here, what do I have left? 0. That's right. When I take my 10 away, I have 0. But then I have to take the 10 that I borrowed here. If I took it away here, I have to add it back here. So then I have 24. So each time you can see that I'm taking a 10 away on this side, and each time I'm adding a 10 on this side. So that I still have 24 is the same as 0 plus 24. Right? Does all that make sense? So if that makes sense, then let's work on the first example on the front of our paper. If it doesn't make sense, pause the video now, get my attention, and I'll come and explain a little bit more. Okay, so if you want to keep moving on, let's work with a different number. I got to find my eraser. All right, let's work with a different number this time. Let's work with a different number. This time we're going to work with a bigger number. We'll work with 32, okay? And so I know that 32, just when I say 30 and 2, 32, then I'm going to add 30 and 2. And I know that that makes 32. And that's expanded form, just like we had already done. So this is the first example on the front of your paper, the one at the top, okay? So we're going to put that one right here, okay?
Have a good Christmas.
You too.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, they'll love it. That was Miss Hamilton. She says Merry Christmas. And so, what we're going to do next is we're going to take a 10 away from this side. And when I take a 10 away from here, instead of having 3 tens, I have 2 tens. And 2 tens is, as we just discussed, 20. But I have to add that 10 back to this side, right? And so 10 more on this one is 12. That's right. And that makes still 32. So then we're going to do it one more time. I'm going to take a 10 away, I'm going to add it back here. And I still have 32. There's not another blank down there for us to do a fourth line, because I could make this number in 4 different ways, but I'm not going to. So we're not going to write it down, but I'll still do it. If I take another 10 away, I have to add it to this number. Okay? And so hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, let's do one more down at the bottom of your paper on the front, and then we'll get you to the middle and let you get going, okay? We're going to work with the number, how about 48? Okay? And so we know just from saying the number 48 to write that in expanded form is 40 plus 8, and it makes 48. That's how we write 48 in expanded form. I also know that I have 4 10s here. I have 8 left over, and they go together to make 48. But if I took one of my 10s, I have 4. If I took one of the 10s from here, then I would end up with how many 10s? I have 4 10s right now. Take one away, and then I have 3 10s. That's right. And 3 10s is 30. But I got to take the 10 that I borrowed from here, and I got to put it with this number. Okay? And when I put my borrowed 10 with that number, I end up with, that's right, 18. And that still goes together to make 48. Okay? So, we're going to keep the pattern going. We're going to take away a 10 here, and we're going to add it back to this side. So we're going to take away our 10. Notice we're getting smaller every time. This side's getting smaller, but I still have even 10s. This side is getting bigger by 10s, but I still have my leftovers. See, I still have my leftover 8 right there. And so when I take my borrowed 10 here, that's right, still makes 48. Yep. We're going to do it 2 more times. Okay, so I'm going to borrow my 10. I'm going to add it back to this side. And I'm going to end up with, that's right, 48. And then the last one, when I take my final 10 away, we all know that that ends up with 0. Adding my 10 here. So all I'm doing is I'm taking away, I'm just playing with my numbers. I'm starting with my leftovers that are by themselves and a set of even 10s. Then I'm taking one of those 10s and adding it to my leftovers. Then I'm taking another 10 and adding that to my leftovers. Taking another 10 and then adding that to my leftovers. Okay? So let's turn to the middle. Let's turn to the middle. So if we look here, they're giving us pictures to help us decide. And really, essentially what we're doing is they're just asking us to make it in a couple of different ways. We don't have to do it every single way, but they do want you to regroup them and to write them in different ways. Just 2 different ways, okay? So as you can see, for the first one, they've got 23, and the first way that they make it underneath the picture is expanded form. 20 plus 3. So the second time that they write it is right up here. And what they do is they take one of these 10s and they put it over here. So then we can imagine we still have 23, but we only have 1 10 on this side. And then we have a stack of 10 and 3 leftovers on this side, which makes 13. That's right. Okay? And then the next time, for our next line, they take both sets of 10s and put them over here so that I have 0 in my 10s and I have all 23 for my 1s. Okay? So, I would like for you guys to now do numbers 2, 3, and 4 on your own, okay? If you don't understand, pause the video, raise your thumb, I'll come help. But if you do, go ahead and pause the video, do number 2, 3, and 4 on your own. Very good. Now let's look down at the numbers 5 and 6. This time they're not giving you all of the pictures, but you have to decide with the number 46, you know that there are how many 10s in 46? Okay, so you have to decide how many goes with 20 to make 46. Then you have to decide how many goes with 9 to make 29. So I'd like for you to pause the video and do numbers 5 and 6 now. Very good. Welcome back. Let's look at the back. So it says number 7 says that Carl made this model. What number is he showing? Okay? What number is he showing? So you're going to write that number here, and then you are going to write the addition sentence that this picture shows. Write the addition sentence that this picture shows. Okay? Do not write expanded form here. Write the way the picture shows. Okay? Pause the video and do number 7. Welcome back. Now let's look at number 8. It says on Kristen's work mat, there are 3 10s and 12 1s. So I would like for you first to draw 3 stacks of 10 and 12 1s. And then tell me how many is she showing all together. And then I want you to write a math sentence, an addition sentence that matches Kristen's model. Pause the video and do number 8. Very good. Welcome back. Now let's look at number 9. Which of these ways is not a correct way to show the number 35? Okay? All of these show numbers, but which way does not show 35? Color in the circle underneath the number sentence that does not show 35 now. Pause the video and do number 9. Very good. Nicely done, boys and girls. If you have any trouble, raise your thumb. Mr. Martin will come help you. If not, get yourself to Prodigy. If you don't know how to get to Prodigy, raise your thumb. I'll come help you. All right? Good job, guys.